Capcom.
High-octane action games are some of the coolest games ever made. Controlling an ultra-badass protagonist and pulling off crazy combos to destroy your enemies is just a fun time. This genre of game is one of my favorites, and the one that I find myself continuously going back to no matter how old I get. When talking about games of this genre, you can't help but mention the iconic Capcom series,
Devil May Cry.
Originally created to be the next entry into the Resident Evil franchise, Devil May Cry evolved into the legendary game series it is today, and essentially created the hack and slash genre. That's right, DMC 1 was actually supposed to be Resident Evil 4. Hey, look at this. This is like the third video where I mentioned Resident Evil 4. I need help. Devil May Cry is loved by millions of players all over the world, especially me. I love these games. I played every single one multiple times. Well, almost everyone. The Devil May Cry series started with Devil May Cry 1, released August 23rd, 2001. There are 5 main titles, not including special editions, the HD collection, and even a mobile game. If you were to quickly ask my opinions on all of them, it would go like this. Devil May Cry, beloved classic. Devil May Cry 3, GOAT. Devil May Cry 4, disappointing in some areas, but still awesome. Devil May Cry 5. Oh wait, I forgot one. Devil May Cry 2, released in January of 2003. If you had to point to a black sheep of the series, it would be this one. This game took a lot of what fans liked and thought was great about Devil May Cry and changed it for some reason. According to some people, Devil May Cry 2 is the most lackluster and unfun game in the entire series. So I've heard. It's not the worst game in the world. People do like this game. Devil May Cry 2 does have its fans. For example... All right, so Sean, your favorite Devil May Cry is Devil May Cry 2?
Yes, it is.
Why is it your favorite?
I'll be honest with you, man. It's a mixture of like nostalgia and the fact that for a long time, the female counterpart, I forgot her name, but all I know is that she reminded me of Rihanna. I'm looking like, hold on.
Rihanna. Lucia, I think she is. I think her name is.
Yeah. You know what's funny? That is so crazy that I went that whole game and I'm like, yeah, this Rihanna. Yeah, that's funny, bro. But yeah, that and the fact that, I don't know, I guess the gunplay like pointed at both ways or in different directions. I was like, oh, this shit is cool. And I think that was my first entry because I didn't start with DMC 1. So
yeah, I
think that it's a combination of nostalgia and the boss fight that I remember vividly. Because you know how when you little fucking can't get past no boss. But I got past the first one and that tank shit, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. Trying times, I ain't gonna lie. Trying times. I died multiple fucking times trying to kill that shit. I don't even think I got past that, to be honest. I don't think I beat the game. But
wait, you didn't beat the game?
Hell no, I didn't beat that shit.
Oh shit. Well, let me just say you disgust me and you are a sick bastard.
Oh my god.
It's just not as good as the other games, even the one that came out before it. After 2, of course, came Devil May Cry 3, and the rest is history. Devil May Cry 3 to me is the benchmark of the series. It set a lot of standards for these games going forward, especially character-wise. So that's it. You have a hit video game series that is loved by millions across the world. There's no need for Capcom to want to change anything. Tokyo Game Show 2010. A brand new game trailer was released to the world from video game juggernaut Capcom.
My name is Dante.
Wait, what? Dante? Yep, that's right. This black-haired individual is apparently supposed to be Dante from Devil May Cry. I thought this was going to be another prequel. I thought this was going to take place before DMC 3, and it took me an embarrassingly long time to figure out that this was in fact a complete series reboot, to which I wasn't sure about, to be honest. I liked the original Devil May Cry series. I didn't see a reason to completely start over from scratch. When you have an established franchise like Devil May Cry, change does not always come easy. Doing your own interpretation is not always guaranteed to work out, no matter what beloved piece of media is attached to it. Just ask the makers of the Halo TV show. So what did I think about this new Dante? Well, my initial reaction to this trailer was no different than my reaction to the Saints Row Reboot trailer.
Who the fuck is this nigga, bro?
People did not like the look of this new Dante. He was skinny, he was a smoker, and more importantly, no white hair. You know, the single character defining feature that represents the main character of Devil May Cry, whether that be Dante or Nero. Yep, none of that. The main responses around this time to the reveal of this new Dante were shifting from, I don't know how to feel about this Dante, but I'm intrigued, to who is this crackhead? And other very colorful Xbox Live Call of Duty language I'd rather not repeat. Now, it's important to note that Capcom were only publishing the game. The actual developers were the game studio Ninja Theory. You may know them for games like Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, Enslaved Odyssey to the West, and Heavenly Sword. How did they take this fan hate? Well, in my last video, I talked about how Volition, or more accurately, the person who ran their Twitter at the time, lashed out due to the negative reception of the 2022 Saints Row Reboot game. All that accomplished was to give much unneeded hatred to the game and the developers. So how did Ninja Theory respond to the criticism? Not well. Now don't get me wrong, I understand how crazy social media mobs are. I understand how bad internet hate can get. And I absolutely understand and greatly dislike the idea of threatening somebody's life over a fucking video game. That being said, the proper response to criticism is not to attack the thing they're defending in the first place. Referring to the Dante that everyone knows and loves as a quote-unquote gay cowboy is not the response I would have went with for a game that frankly needed all the good press it could get. You don't put out fires with gasoline. All of this negativity from both sides of the argument, and even some of my friends who are hardcore Devil May Cry fans, made me do something I've done many, many times before. I wiped my hands clean and moved on.
I quit. 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 I quit.
I stopped talking about the game and tried to forget it existed, which to some of you may seem like a somewhat childish way to handle something like this, but doing so has kept me relatively sane over the years. Although, I would be lying if I said I never wondered all these years about what a darker version of DMC would look like. So now, almost 10 years later, I'm finally going to play DMC Devil May Cry. Now, before we get into the characters and the story, I just want to make one thing very, very clear. Say what you will about this game from a narrative or character perspective, the gameplay is fucking awesome. You could be as negative as you want about this game and this Dante, but the gameplay itself is the saving grace. This game is worth it alone for the combat. Getting used to the new combat mechanics in the beginning was a little weird. The controls were different and certain button inputs were changed, honestly, for the worse. But the more you play the game and the more weapons you obtain, it gets pretty cool, especially when you gain access to the rest of your arsenal. Dante has his trademark sword Rebellion and two guns Ebony and Ivory. But Dante isn't just a demon this time around, he's also a half angel, creating a hybrid called Nephilim. Both sides of Dante give him access to angel and demon-based weapons. Both demon weapons are powerful, brutish weapons like the Giant Axe Arbiter and the Flaming Fist Eryx, while the angel weapons, which consist of a giant scythe Osiris and Aquila, which are giant fucking shurikens. Angel weapons are fast and can hit multiple foes at once. You also have access to a shotgun and a sort of sticky bomb gun, both of which I honestly didn't use that much. The guns in this game do nothing for me, honestly. Melee is just so fun. And the best part about it is you can switch between all your weapons freely in the middle of combat. Blend that together with your Rebellion turning into a grapple hook that can pull in faraway enemies or bring you closer to them, and you have a solid gameplay experience. Combo fiends should really love this game. It's great. Another thing I liked, even though I don't know if this counts as gameplay exactly, but I'm going to mention it anyway, is the music in this game is just fucking mwah! Chef's kiss.
And I wish I'd never been, and I know it's just a dream. Now I'm blind, I can't open my eyes, can't stay awake.
If there's one thing you could say that is consistently good across any Devil May Cry game, it's the music. The music that plays during battle enhances combat even further. Like, for me, this soundtrack makes me want to just kill something. In the game, of course. I'm not a murderer. Don't put that on me. However, I do have some gripes gameplay-wise. Some changes to various moves are very strange. They changed the input for Stinger for some reason. You have to press forward, and then the attack button, which is awkward. Why would they do this? Gun rain is slow, and I barely use it, and it wouldn't be right if I didn't mention that Dante's devil trigger in this game kind of sucks, I'm not gonna lie to you. Dante no longer turns into a cool demon and does crazy damage. He instead stops time and inverts the color on the screen so you actually look like the main character of a Devil May Cry game. Your enemies will start to float in the air suspended, and you have a short while to attack them. Like, why can you do this? Are you Dio? Also, there is no lock-on in this game. You heard me right. There's no way to focus on just one opponent, which is frustrating and weird. Which brings me to the fact that this game has another version, the DMC Devil May Cry Definitive Edition. The Definitive Edition of DMC fixed a decent portion of the problems, from balancing combat a bit, adding hardcore turbo and must-style mode, and adding a bunch of costumes that make this Dante look better than he ever did originally. Oh, and they also added a lock-on feature, even though it could be better. The only problem with this edition is that, well, it only ever came out on the PS4 and Xbox One. They never ported this edition to PC. If you plan on playing this game, try your best to play the Definitive Edition. That's the better version of the game, no doubt. Now, before moving on, there's one more thing I want to talk about that I like. This game is very traversal heavy. It's pretty much a platformer in all respects, and that's pretty cool. There's much more exploration in this game than a lot of other Devil May Cry games, which is mainly due to the fun design of Limbo. The only way Dante is able to fight demons throughout the game is to be sucked into the demonic realm of Limbo, a twisted demonic reflection of whatever part of the world he's in at the time. And visually, Limbo looks great. It's a distorted, ever-changing world that really likes to show off visually. A lot of times, certain locations will just generally look very appealing and interesting. It looks like a realm of demons. It looks like something demonic would be waiting here for you. Different zones will look deformed, platforms will break out randomly and change, and you'll have to find your way through it, all while enemies try and stop you. Limbo feels alive, and I really like it. Another thing I like about this game visually is the art they use for flashbacks. Ninja Theory was trying to go for a more grunge, darker aesthetic than the other DMC games, and a lot of the art really reflects that. Say what's real about this picture of Dante doing whatever he's doing, but visually, this picture is kind of cool to me. The art looks good every time it's on screen, except for this one. This is weird. What are you doing to Sparta? So that's everything I like about this game. Everything else from here on out might get a little bit negative, but hey, can't be all that bad, right? Oh God, where to begin? Okay, like I said earlier, fans really did not like the design of the new Dante. They did not like how this reboot intended to change everything they knew and loved. Well, I've come to the conclusion that the changes to his appearance don't bother me anymore, for the simple fact that this isn't Dante. This isn't even Tony Redgrave. I don't know who this man is, but I don't like calling him Dante. Can we come up with another name for him? Maybe Steve? Yeah, let's go with Steve. I didn't like Steve very much. At his best, he's just kind of okay. And at his very worst, he's kind of a douche.
You're not on the list. I am now.
A big thing Ninja Theory wanted to accomplish with this game was to create an edgier, darker take on Devil May Cry to appeal to a Western audience. Now look, I like a good edgy protagonist. One of my favorite characters in any media ever is Guts from Berserk. I'm thoroughly excited for the third Sonic the Hedgehog movie just to see Shadow the Hedgehog. Chaos Control! I like to read Todd McFarlane's Spawn comics, and I'm very much a fan of Metal Gear Rising's Raiden. So I'm not put off by edgelords, but a lot of the time, Steven over here is just trying too hard. He's all about getting drunk and banging strippers and not giving a fuck about anything. And I get it. This game came out in 2013. What was enjoyable back then may not be well received by today's standards. But I don't think this was even well received back then. The hard truth of the matter is that Steve is just not that likable of a character. His motivations and his character arc in this game consist of him finding a reason to care about someone besides himself, and he achieves that due to the actions of the other two unlikable characters. Characters like Dante's twin brother Vergil, one of the coolest video game characters ever who's been reduced to this. The Vergil in this game is... you know what? I'm not going to mince words. This Vergil is lame. Vergil is the leader of the underground anti-demon group, the Order. He spends his time gathering information and trying to wake up the masses to what's really going on, but he barely does anything the entire game. He just gives you a bunch of stuff to do. Dante Steve does the lion's share of the work. Vergil only really starts to help towards the end of the game. He's not cool. He's not even a worthy rival to Steve. As much as I don't like what they did to this Dante, they did this Vergil way worse. Like, for real, look at him. He's wearing a fucking fedora. Take that shit off, Freddy Krueger. And finally, we have Cat, an entirely new character made just for this game. No lady, no Trish, just Cat. I think Cat, by default, is the best character in the game, or at least the one I can tolerate the most. But once again, just like with my Saints Row video, is this character good, or do I like her because she isn't a bastardized version of a character we all know and like better? And to that I say, I really don't know. I don't hate Cat, I just wish she was better. The story behind Cat consists of her being a victim of horrible abuse in her youth. To escape, she found a way to put herself mentally into limbo, unlocking her somewhat psychic powers. While traveling through limbo, she was saved by Vergil and dedicated herself to him and his cause ever since. A problem I have with Cat's character, and by extension Steve's character as well, is I wish they expanded upon her backstory more. It could have been a good addition to the dark, edgy story that, you know, they were supposed to give us. A lot of story in this game is just a character telling us about the horrible things they went through in the past and never really showing us those things or even how they really affect the character. And that's disappointing because Cat has a lot of significance to the plot and is pretty much the sole motivation for Dante, or excuse me, Steve. Steve only starts caring about humans and humanity because of Cat. They even end up together at the end of the game, I think. I'm not sure there's a single moment that really built up an actual romance for these two besides like one scene of trauma bonding, but by the end of the game, they're supposed to be together? The ending scene in the definitive edition even shows him copping a feel. So those are our heroes. What about the villains? The majority of villains in this game are demons that are either sent to hunt down the Son of Sparta or obstacles Steve has to get through. The designs of the normal enemies aren't my favorite in the world, although some of them do look really good, the bosses especially. However, there are only two demons that really matter character-wise though. You have Lilith, who's the demon girlfriend of the actual big bad main villain of the game, Mundus. That's right, the main villain of the original Devil May Cry, the demon god who ruled the world of demons. This is him. He's basically Wilson Fisk. He's like the Kingpin. They paint him as this super influential, mega evil bad guy who controls the majority of the world through blackmail, fake news, and Mountain Dew, even though he just sits in his office all day screaming about trying to find the Son of Sparta, or doing some things we really didn't need to see him do. I do not hate the character, but much like Cat, he could have been way better. It's very hard to look at him and think Mundus Demon God.
Me, a god, versus you, a piece of shit.
But like I said before, these aren't the characters we know and like. This is not Dante. This ain't Vergil. This ain't Mundus. And Cat is definitely not Lady Trish or even Nico. These characters are their own thing entirely, and they're not great. The way they act, their motivations, and very much the things they say aren't as cool as they think it is.
I'm your prime date, you ugly sack of shit.
I'm stronger. I'm smarter. I'm better looking.
And I got a bigger dick.
What the hell is this?
You wanted to make a more mature game, I get that. But to make a more darker take on something is more than just saying a couple curse words. Yeah, they use words like fuck, and every time Dante's mother gets mentioned, she gets called a whore.
They found Sparta in his whore.
Son of Sparta and Eva, the whore.
But a lot of the time in this game, it just comes off as more juvenile than anything. The themes and the vibes that were shown in the earlier trailers of this game don't really show up at all in the final product. Maybe it was changed due to the poor fan reception. Who knows, honestly? So at this point in time, I would like to quickly go over the story of DMC Devil May Cry. The game opens with Steve Dante hanging out in a strip club, drinking booze, and partying with strippers because the game has to show us how cool he is. He takes the girls home in the trailer he lives in and they have a wild night. He wakes up the next morning and opens the door to find a young girl who warns him of an impending danger, while he's standing there, dick out. He's then dragged into the demon world of Limbo, where the demon that's hunting him destroys his mobile home as Steve flies through the air and quickly grabs his clothes. Without putting on underwear. Does that mean he's been freeballing the whole game?
Disgusting!
You then meet the girl again, who introduces herself as Kat, a medium who can see you in Limbo. She offers you a way out, but you are hesitant at first. After deciding to go with her, you run from the demon and then just say fuck it and fight him. A white wig falls on your head and Steve says,
Not in a million years.
Move this man!
Cut his fucking head off!
After beating the demon, he calls your mother a whore and you kill him. Kat then takes you to the Order's headquarters and introduces you to her boss, Vergil. At this point, you learn that Steve Dante has lost all of his memories as a kid and doesn't remember his brother. His twin brother. How does Dante not know that this is his brother? In every DMC game, Vergil and Dante are supposed to be twin brothers, but this is the only game where they actually look identical. You don't find that strange, Steven? Vergil then brings you back to your childhood home in an attempt to jog your memory. Kat then puts you into Limbo by making a Full Metal Alchemist circle out of squirrel semen. I am not joking.
A compound I created based on an old Wiccan recipe. Sea salt, shark oil, iron shavings, desiccated squirrel semen, wolf hair.
Good stuff.
How did she get it from the squirrel? Inside Limbo, you start to have visions of your past after seeing pictures of your parents, Sparta and Eva, where it is revealed that the demon Mundus killed your mother and imprisoned your father for all eternity. I'm not trying to kink shame, but what are you doing to Sparta? Vergil then explains how when a mommy angel and a daddy demon love each other very much, they make a hybrid creature called a Nephilim, the only beings capable of defeating the demon king Mundus. Armed with this knowledge, Steve Areno then joins his brother and Kat to take down Mundus's two main sources of power, the Virility Energy Drink Factory and the Raptor News Network, both ran by his demons. First up is the Slurm Factory. I mean it, it's actually Slurm. Season 1, Episode 13 of Futurama, the gang goes on a Willy Wonka-inspired tour of the energy drink Slurm and find out that the drink comes from a giant slug underneath the factory. And in DMC Devil May Cry, it is the exact same thing.
So you must be the secret ingredient.
Fuck you!
Fuck you.
Fuck you!
Whammy, wham, wham, wazzle!
Then it's time to take down Fox News. But first you have to get there. You cross over into Limbo and meet this demon named Phineas, who's missing his right eye and wants you to retrieve it. In exchange, he'll help you. You get his eye back, and he guides you towards the demon's lair, but not before he informs you of a way to hurt Mundus. Remember this girl, Lilith? Yeah, she's pregnant with his child. You enter the Raptor News Tower and fight against Demon Bob Barbas and kill him. Mundus, now pissed off that his two main sources of power have been destroyed, angrily sends a SWAT team to the Order's hideout. You, still trapped in Limbo, want to get out of there, but Vergil has to stay behind to save important information, actively putting Kat in danger. Vergil wants to leave Kat behind as Dante tries to talk to her into looking as non-threatening as possible to police officers, who just end up shooting and beating the shit out of her anyway. On their own, with no plan and no way to save Kat, who's being tortured by Mundus, Steven then remembers that Lilith is pregnant with Mundus's kid and can be used as a bargaining chip. Steve enters her club, fights her, and kidnaps her to offer the Mundus in exchange for Kat. During the hostage trade-off, for some reason, Vergil shoots and kills Lilith and Mundus is pissed. I know she's an evil demon, but you just made her seem like a sympathetic figure. Why did you do this? Our heroes then escape in Vergil's sports car that has a V on the dashboard. What a fucking dork. Kat then comes up with an elaborate plan to get into Mundus's lair and close the Hellgate with the Yamato, rendering him able to be killed. They get to the tower. Steve fights his way up 100 plus floors. They get to Mundus. He turns into a giant garbage titan and they fight. Steve kills him.
We did it. I did it.
Yeah, you did, Steve. You did it all. The closing of the Hellgate causes the world of Limbo and the human world to merge so normal people can see demons now. Yay, I guess? We beat the bad guy, but now demons exist in the normal world. Innocent people are probably getting killed as we speak. Did we fuck up?
Did it, Patrick! We saved the city!
As the heroes are basking in their victory, Vergil, almost out of nowhere, then decides to do a sudden heel turn and wants to rule the world and subjugate all humans, including Kat. Because hey, we need an excuse for Steve to fight Vergil at the end of the game, so fuck it, let's go, bitch. I've been waiting for this. You fight your brother, and it is very apparent in this fight that this Vergil just doesn't have the sauce. You basically baby him the entire fight. The only cool thing he does is summon a clone of himself, which they actually brought back in DMC 5. That's This is actually pretty cool. You use your devil trigger, your hair fully turns white finally, you stab Vergil, and as you're about to kill him, Cat pleads for his life. You let him go, he runs off like a pussy through a portal, you don't know who you are anymore, to which Cat reinforces that you are Dante, which, I mean, I guess he is now because he's got the white hair. Your eye glows, or if you're playing the definitive edition, you two walk off as you touch her ass, and the game ends. Vergil's Downfall, the DLC add-on where you play as Vergil. Anytime you get to play as Vergil in any Devil May Cry game, it is always a treat. So no matter what negative I'm about to say, the fact that you can play as Vergil is really fun. With that out of the way, Vergil's Downfall isn't the greatest. This DLC finds Vergil alone in hell, trying to find his way out as he deals with the betrayal of Dante. Gameplay-wise, Vergil plays a lot different from Dante. He only has the Yamato, however he gets access to angel and demon ways of wielding it, which is a clever way to incorporate the feature, even though it's just all the stuff you would get normally if he was, you know, regular Vergil. There's nothing really amazing about the way he moves in combat. Summon Swords takes Devil Trigger meter, and his Devil Trigger is him summoning the clone. The heavier demon moves were a cool change, but beyond that, let's just say this isn't my favorite version of Vergil. At the end of the DLC, Vergil controls an army of demons, setting him up to be the villain of the sequel that never happened. And that's it. That's DMC Devil May Cry. Look, here's the thing. This game was hated by a lot of people for very stupid reasons. However, after playing this game, I unfortunately understand and agree with some of their gripes with the game, mostly with the characters, but the game itself doesn't deserve the hate. Combat and gameplay wise, this is a really good hack and slash platformer. The biggest problem with this game is that it's called Devil May Cry. If you take the name out of this game, it's actually a better game. But therein lies the problem. I fully believe that if this game was not called Devil May Cry, it would have already gotten a sequel. All the negatives to this game have to do with Ninja Theory attempting to change a series that we all know and love. But if it wasn't called Devil May Cry, honestly speaking, how many people would actually really have played this? We've already covered that it's not a bad game, but name recognition alone does a lot for games. And that's not to say Ninja Theory doesn't make really good games. I loved Enslaved Odyssey to the West, and I really enjoyed Hellblade, but none of their games are really as popular as DMC. I can't just randomly have a conversation with someone about Heavenly Sword. They're not going to remember it. If this game was not called Devil May Cry, I don't think it would have gotten as much attention as it did. However, it being named Devil May Cry is the thing that is actively holding it back. It's like a double-edged sword. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. All I know is that this game is not a bad game. You take the story, take the characters, and the dialogue out of the equation entirely, and this game is a fun ride. DMC is great. It's fun. It's everything you want it to be in an action hack and slash game. It's not bad, and I really enjoyed playing it. Would I want another one over Devil May Cry 6, though? Nah.